Hello everyone, our lesson today talking about congruency in right triangles. Right triangles formed from the hypotenuse and two legs. The longest side, which is opposite to the right angle, is called hypotenuse, and the other two sides they are called legs. Our theorem, HL theorem, hypotenuse leg theorem, if we found in the right triangle that the hypotenuse and leg are congruent to the hypotenuse and leg of the other right triangles, then both of the two triangles are congruent by HL theorem. Then we need hypotenuse and one leg of the first triangle congruent to hypotenuse and corresponding leg of the other triangle. By looking at the three triangles, two triangles which pair of the triangles are congruent by HL theorem, then we need to look for the hypotenuse and two corresponding legs congruent. Here, if you looked at the first two triangles, LMN, and the other triangle OQP, both of them congruent by HL theorem, because we have LN and OP, the hypotenuse, both of them are congruent, and the other two legs, LM and OQ, both of them also are congruent. Then we have hypotenuse and leg on both triangles are congruent, then both of them congruent by HL theorem. How to solve this problem? By using the given. Here he said CD congruent to EA. This is given, as you see. AD is perpendicular bisector to the line segment CE. What does it mean? It means that CE divided into two equal halves. Then CB equal BE according to the perpendicular bisector AD. Here he said prove that the triangle CBD congruent to the triangle EBA. The first part, here we will write the given CD congruent to EA, this is given, and the other given that AD is perpendicular bisector to the line segment CE, this also is given. And here, as we explained, that CB is congruent to EB because there is perpendicular bisector to this line segment AD. Then CB congruent to EB, this is definition of perpendicular bisector. And we have here that angle CBD and angle EBA are right angles, because here we have perpendicular, the definition of perpendicular lines, because the perpendicular lines making right angles, then the two angles are right angles. Then the two triangles CBD and the other triangle EBA are right triangles. This is definition of right triangles. Then the two triangles are congruent by HL theorem, because we have hypotenuse CD and the other hypotenuse AE congruent. We have the other leg CB and the other leg BE, they are congruent in both of the two right triangles, then both of them congruent by HL theorem. Let's solve this problem. Here in the given PRS, the angle PRS and the angle RPQ are right angles. SP congruent to QR. Prove that the two triangles PRS and RPQ are congruent. By using the given, the angle PRS and angle RPQ are right angles. This is given. And also SPQ congruent to QR. Here, the two triangles PRS and the triangle RPQ are right triangles. This is definition of right triangles, because in the given he told us that both of the two angles are right angles, then we have two right triangles. The two sides PR equal itself, PR congruent to PR. This is reflexive property of congruence. Then the two triangles are congruent by HL theorem, because we have hypotenuse. Both of the two hypotenuse SP and RQ, both of them are congruent, and we have leg, the common leg, both of them they are sharing the same leg, PR. Then we have in both of the two right triangles hypotenuse and leg, then both of the two triangles congruent by HL theorem. Here in this problem we have isosceles triangle XYZ. XM is perpendicular bisector to the line segment YZ. From that we will find that the two angles XMY and XMZ, both of them right angles. This is definition of the perpendicular lines. And here he said isosceles triangle, then we have XZ congruent to XY. Let's prove that the two triangles are congruent. Here we will use the flow proof. XM perpendicular bisector to YZ, this is given. From that we will get the angle XMY and the angle XMZ are right angles. This is definition of perpendicular bisector. And from that the two triangles XMY and the other triangle XMZ are right triangles. This is definition of right triangles. Here in the given, XY is congruent to XY, XY congruent to YZ. This is definition of isosceles triangles. XM is congruent to XM. This is reflexive property. Then from here the two triangles are congruent by HL theorem, because we have the hypotenuse XY and XZ in both of the two triangles are congruent, because this is isosceles triangle. And since he said this XM perpendicular bisector, then we have right angles, and according to perpendicular bisector, then MY and MZ congruent, then we have hypotenuse and leg of the two triangles, then both of them congruent by HL theorem. Finally, we explained before that there are some statements to prove that both of the two triangles congruent. We explained SSS side side, SAS side angle side, ASA angle side angle, AAS angle side, and finally the last statement was HL theorem. This is the last part in our lesson. I hope that you understood the lesson, and thank you for listening and have a nice day.